We all know the Irish legend. Catch a leprechaun and you'll win his pot of gold. That's what O'Grady did, and he thought he'd struck it rich. But the leprechaun didn't like getting tricked, and he followed O'Grady back to North Dakota to kill him and take back what was his. But the leprechaun was tricked again and trapped in a crate for 10 years. Now the new homeowners have accidentally let him out, and he is pissed in the 1993 horror comedy Leprechaun. I'm Connor Eyzaguirre, and a very happy St. Patrick's Day from Filmgazm. Happy Wednesday and welcome to the 128th episode of the Filmgazm podcast. This is a very special episode for a number of reasons. One, it's St. Patty's Day. And two, some guy kind of wandered into the studio. He's going to record with me here. You may have heard of him. The day has finally come to say hello to the original co-founder of Filmgazm, my oldest friend, Caleb Leger. Welcome to the team, buddy.
Hey, good to finally be here. Nothing like hearing podcast episodes while you're stuck on deployment. But no, it's awesome to be here finally. You know, we started this back in 2014, yeah. I believe. I think Godzilla was our first review.
Goddamn, yeah.
Yeah. And seeing it grow from here and sitting here now with a microphone that I got off Amazon in front of my face on a podcast, it's come a long way. It's exciting. I'm happy.
It's great, man. This thing's been, forced to grow without you. We started this, back in 2014 as a movie review website that just evolved on its own to really kind of become a big part of all our lives. And I wouldn't have it any other way. This is, the podcast has become its own animal. It's crazy. And I'm very glad you're finally here to be a part of it with us. This is great.
I mean, I can't wait. Instead of just listening to episodes going, God, I wish I could say this. God, I can say it. I can say it, damn it.
So why don't you give the audience a little bit of insight on who you are and why you love movies so much, specifically horror movies?
So, I grew up my whole life in Texas born and raised. And I started out, if anyone knows it, any Texas fans out there, Beaumont, Texas, where I was born over in East. Eventually moved to Blanco, where we met. And that's where I grew up the rest of my life. As far as horror movies, it's always been a part of my life. I can remember as early as, when I was reading Goosebumps, watching the show, watching Are You Afraid of Dark, sneaking in episodes of Tales from the Crypt, to the point that I had a really bad nightmare and had to not admit to it, which got Are You Afraid of Dark taken away from me, but that's not the point. And then like little things like very fond memories when my dad showed me Child's Play on TV one day at the age of like 5, because in his words, it's on TV, it's edited.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I was 5. It did not end well. But it's grown since then. I'm to the point now where I have t-shirts out the ass. I got a whole tattoo sleeve, merchandise, which you can see some of it behind me. It's started out young and it has just continued to grow well into my adulthood now.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, when I started a horror movie podcast, I kept thinking like, he should be here. he should be part of this. This isn't fair. And here we are, 128 in, and the universe has finally been corrected. Sorry it had to be Leprechaun. That was your debut, but it just worked out like that.
Yeah, it couldn't be when you guys said Saw, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Hellraiser. Nope, I got Leprechaun.
Hey, they're not all gonna be gems. If we only did good movies, I feel like it would cheapen it somehow.
Yeah, and it's fun talking about movies like this. I'll get more into it too when I talk about certain horror series that just somehow exist. But it's fun talking about movies like this.
Yeah, I've spent countless hours now ripping bad movies apart sometimes, and it's fun. I still think, 128 in, I don't think Leprechaun's the worst movie that I've talked about on this podcast. To me, the honor still goes to Swamp Thing.
Ooh, that bad on Swamp Thing?
Swamp Thing or Exorcist 2. That's the lowest we've gone.
Yeah, you guys can keep Exorcist 2. I'm fine. I don't need to do that one with you guys. I've seen it once. Once was enough.
Hot garbage. That's what that movie is. Like ridiculously hot garbage. It somehow dragged in Richard Burton and James Earl Jones. I don't know how that happened.
Did you understand anything that was happening? Because I was so confused in that hour and a half long movie.
No, is this the devil? Is this like some African demon? Like, what the fuck am I watching? Yeah, Exorcist 2 is a disaster.
God. Yeah.
Sandwiched between two amazing horror films.
Yeah, you got two classics and then Exorcist 2.
Yeah.
Apparently in that series, like the odd numbers are great movies and the even numbers are terrible movies. Because then they did that Exorcist at the beginning, which was technically like Exorcist 4, and it was hot garbage as well.
Does that mean Dominion is good too? Because technically, isn't that Exorcist 5?
There's an exception to that because that shit's so weird. Because they fired the director, so they refilmed that, but then released both directors' version of the fucking movie, and neither one was really good. So,
yeah, The Suits. I don't know if The Suits have ever made a good call, any genre. Like, it's just, I don't know why that happens. So there's no rewind today. Let's jump right in. So clearly you have some history with Leprechaun.
Yes. On a whim, there's horror movies I've watched that I've heard about in my life that I will watch to see what it's about finally. Leprechaun had to be one of those movies. I think because, Hulu had all of them. And I was like, oh, okay. I went down that rabbit hole. And you know what? Only the first one's decent. After that, it was just me sitting there going, God, how do they keep making these movies?
Did you watch all of them?
I've seen every single Leprechaun movie that's ever been made.
Isn't that, well, after the first one was shit, isn't it kind of on you then?
The movies I've watched, I punished myself too many times.
It's like, you go to a restaurant, you order, a 6-course feast that you already don't really like, but you just keep eating it. Like, stop eating it. Just walk away.
I had to keep watching. I had to finish to the point that I just now recently, as of last year, have seen Leprechaun Returns. It's not any better, but I've seen it, damn it.
I don't know if I could punish myself like that.
I don't know why I do it, but I do it.
Oh my God. Well, this was my first time with Leprechaun, and I fell asleep watching it, and I had to regroup and start over the next morning because I only had 6 hours left on the rental, so my time limit was pretty sparse, and it's ridiculous. I mean, I don't even know how else to describe it. It's a train wreck.
It's a movie which tries to be funny, but it's not funny. It tries to be scary, but it's not scary. It's a slasher with the lowest kill count I have seen in any slasher movie.
What is this thing?
It's supposed to be a horror comedy that I honestly think the only reason it has any kind of standing or even a franchise is because of Warwick Davis. I think he's like the only thing that's ever kept this series going.
That makes sense until he left the franchise and they're still doing it.
You're right. So they did two different attempts. They did the prequel reboot that was god awful. Dear God, if you think it's painful sitting through this movie, sit through that one. At one point, I remember just staring at the screen and just going, I don't know what's happening anymore because I'm not paying attention.
Yeah, I hate when that happens.
Yeah. And then Leprechaun Returns was like that. It was trying to be Halloween 2018, since that's all the rage now. And so they did like all the other sequels don't matter, so we're just gonna go straight to this one. And it still wasn't very good. It was on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Oof. God, that has anything good ever come out of that channel?
Apparently, Sharknado.
Oh, there you go.
They've made 5 sequels.
No, I think all 5 are in the book. If not, they should be.
Oh God, that one. Okay, I'll admit that one. I've only watched the first movie.
That was the line.
Wow. You gotta draw a line somewhere.
Oh my God, I get it. I don't know if I could sit through all 5 Sharknado movies and still like myself afterwards. I don't know if I could.
I just sat through too many films or film series that made me go, God, why did I do this? And I'm not doing it with Sharknado. I won't do it.
Oh, Leprechaun was written and directed by Mark Jones, who was inspired by the Lucky Charms cereal commercials and the 1986 movie Critters to make a movie about an evil leprechaun. And that makes sense. You combine Lucky Charms with Critters and you get Leprechaun.
So people like Lucky Charms and I like Critters. That's a good movie.
I haven't seen Critters. I'm not a big Gremlins fan, so I didn't pursue the Gremlins knockoffs.
If you don't like Gremlins, I actually do recommend Critters. It's a lot more vicious, brutal. It has Dee Wallace in it.
Oh.
And I want to say Billy Zane is in it actually as well. So it has like a couple well-known names. It's a lot of fun.
Well, Mark Jones never really did anything else. He had a couple movies that I've never heard of. Rumpelstiltskin from 95, Quiet Kill, I think it was, from 2004, Triloquist from 2008, and Scorn from 2013. Have you seen any of those?
No, I have not. Sounds like he's just making that royalty money off Leprechaun.
This was a success, weirdly. English character actor Warwick Davis was cast as the Leprechaun. Davis is known for his performances in Willow, Return of the Jedi, the TV series Life is Short, and the Harry Potter franchise as Professor Flitwick. He would reprise the role of the Leprechaun in 5 sequels. And Warwick Davis is a committed actor, and he's easily the best part about this movie. He's the only one having fun.
Yeah, he seems to be the only one in on the joke of the entire thing. So he's a lot of fun. What's funny is that I saw this movie so late, he obviously didn't scare me as a leprechaun, but I remember my mom loved the movie Willow when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
She would not watch it with me because I got so scared shitless of that movie. Because the end scene when the monsters attack as a kid fucking scared the shit out of me. So she would not watch it. So, Warwick Davis doesn't scare me as Leprechaun, but somehow got me in Willow, and he's not even a bad guy.
That's crazy. I have not seen Willow. I was going to watch it for this episode, but time and circumstance got away from me, so I was not able to. I have, however, seen the entirety of Life is Short, and that is a funny show.
Not seen Life is Short.
Warwick Davis plays an over-exaggerated version of himself looking for work in London, where he's like he runs a league for dwarf actors, but he always takes the better roles for himself. And he keeps going to like Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant for work, and they're like, "Oh shit, Warwick's here," and they never give him a good part, but they always like, "Come back next week and we'll have something for you." And he's such a douche, and it's really funny. They get a lot of celebrity cameos to work with him, and it was a really funny show. It only lasted like 6 episodes, but it's a good watch.
Check that out. For a long time, because before I finally figured it out as I got older, right? I remember as a kid, I always for some reason thought he was R2D2, and so I was like, nope, different person. I was a kid, okay, give me a break.
Hey, I've been there myself. I made a blunder once. I'm not gonna reveal my blunder because I still need the audience to somewhat like me. Yeah, I think everyone's intro to Warwick Davis is probably Star Wars. I think, Wicket, Return of the Jedi, Ewok. And I think he's popped up in a few more randomly. Harry Potter also. Just he's kind of always been there.
Yeah. Like I said, he really is like, even as the sequels got shittier, he really is like the only one that seems being on the joke in this series, and he's at least fun to watch. I do like watching him, and I can see why he's become an icon with this character.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
I'm not saying the movies are great, just that he's good. Let that be blatantly clear.
Yeah, I think, he was kind of instrumental in kind of making this more of a horror comedy. I think, Mark Jones wanted to make a straight up, gore fest, but Warwick Davis is like, no, what if I play this kind of campy? And Mark Jones is like, well, it probably took a lot to get him here. I should probably listen to him. That's why we have Leprechaun.
Not as awesome as how we got John Wick, but I'll take it.
A young, unknown Jennifer Aniston was cast as Tori, a very annoying Valley girl who moves to North Dakota for some reasons. Never really made all too clear. You don't just pick up and move to North Dakota. You end up in North Dakota.
Do you know anyone that even lives in the Dakotas? Because I don't.
I don't know anyone who's been to the Dakotas. Like, I don't get it. I mean, if you live there, God bless. But yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, if we have any fans there, God bless you. I'm sure you love your state, but I don't know anyone. I have never heard in my 28 years of living anyone that's been like, I'm from Dakotas.
I don't understand it. And why put this movie in North Dakota?
I have so many issues with the fact that this movie tries to be like supremely Irish in its opening in Dakota.
It's so weird. Like, why have an Irish couple living in North Dakota? It's called Leprechaun. This is a movie about an Irish legend. Fucking put it in, just say it's Ireland. Film it in North Dakota, but just say it's Ireland. We won't care.
Yeah, it's not going to. It's like when I sat through, what is it? I thought the same thing sent through the Curse of La Llorona a couple years ago when they transplanted that movie to Los Angeles. I'm like, just keep it in Mexico. Just keep it in the country the story is from.
It's this mentality of like Americans don't give a fuck unless it takes place in America. And there's some truth to that, regrettably.
Yeah, but then you put in North Dakota. I don't know how much that applies.
Oh.
And yeah, Jennifer Aniston. Oh, dear God. I almost want to text you and be like, I don't get me wrong, she's decent in the movie. But God, she's annoying. She is so annoying.
Oh my God, this isn't even the mall. Like, what? It's like they just looked up like, all right, what does every Valley girl in the 80s say in a movie? And then they just kind of threw that into like a word blender, chucked it at a dartboard, and we're like, all right, mall, cell phone, shoes, go. Oh, ridiculous. Amazingly, she would go on to have a very lucrative career after she was cast as Rachel on the TV series Friends, which I never watched. I didn't give a shit. I still don't.
I've seen episodes. It's funny, but nothing I really am going to sit through all 10 seasons of.
Yeah. I don't get how a sitcom ends up having like a $10 million budget. Some of her film roles include Bruce Almighty, Office Space, The Good Girl, We're the Millers, The Iron Giant, and Along Came Polly, among others. She's currently on The Morning Show on Apple TV+. And I don't really have any problem with her. I think she kind of plays the same. She's been playing Rachel her entire career. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, I have no problem with her. I do agree that, yeah, she's played like the same type. I think the only time she's really strayed from that was the Horrible Bosses movies.
Yeah, I forgot about those.
Trust me, I like every other guy was like, oh, okay. This is going. She's aged very well. And
I like her in Office Space.
She is fine. When she does comedy, she does it good. Like Office Space, Long King Polly, We're the Millers, Horror Bosses. I like her. I think she's actually really funny when she does comedy.
Yeah. the bit where she, quits her job and she's like, "This is me expressing myself." Like that whole bit. That's fucking hilarious. It's gold. So, yeah, I don't know. I think I don't like Friends, so I just kind of I feel like I constantly have to explain myself when I tell people I don't like Friends.
Yeah, I don't understand that. There's like some sitcoms out there. You're like, well, I don't really like Friends or Seinfeld all that much. We're like, how dare you? I'm like, it's not my show.
Yeah, we all got our show. I love Seinfeld, but yeah, Friends was just never. Friends was like a watered down Seinfeld.
Yeah, it was. I'm granted, it's fine. I don't like Seinfeld, but I love Always Sunny, and that's like a more amped up version of that.
Yeah, maybe it just comes down to we just like assholes being assholes on TV.
Yeah. So at least on TV, we know it's fake.
Ken Olant plays handyman Nathan. Some of his other film roles include Summer School, April Fool's Day, and Maximum Velocity, plus a bunch of random TV roles. So it's no surprise that he didn't really take off.
Yeah, wasn't very. He didn't really leave an impression on me in this movie.
Well, his just whole like he shows up, with the tank top and like the cut arms. Like, come on, you're the North Dakota hunk.
I don't think North Dakota hunks look like that.
There's like 18 people in the whole state. I don't think that any of them look like that. This is really turning into kind of a hate speech on North Dakota.
We're going to lose a lot of fans on this episode.
Yeah, all 18 of them. I'm not going to stop. I'm in too deep at this point. Mark Holton plays simple-minded Ozzy. He's popped up in a bunch of stuff over the years. He played Francis, the bully in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Yeah, I know you are, but what am I, that guy?
Oh, okay.
I fucking hate that movie.
I actually never sat to that movie yet.
It's terrible. I don't get this whole Pee Wee Herman thing. Like it's creepy. It's really creepy. Man, children are creepy.
Apparently, well, you know what? It's 2021. He might get canceled, and you may not have to deal with him anymore.
I don't think he should get canceled just because he's creepy. The character's creepy. I got no issues with Paul Rubens, who has, porno theaters are there so you can jerk off in private, like, quietly. That's the whole reason those exist.
All the people to get caught doing that in porno theater had to be the guy who has a hit children's television show.
It had to be the guy nicknamed Pee Wee. I mean, come on. You can't make that shit up. But I don't think that was fair what happened to him. I mean, everyone else there was doing the same thing, but he's famous, so he got arrested.
Yeah, look, man, what you want to do, what type of theater you want to go to, and what you want to do in said theater, that's on you.
Granted, if you're the star of a children's show, you should probably be a little bit more discreet than that.
Yes, and considering it's pretty easy to get porn free, I don't see why you still need to go to the theater for it.
Well, it is now. It wasn't in like the late 80s.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You had to go to the theater.
You had to go to the theater or like somehow, find a place that would sell you a tape.
It's really
HBO
crazy.
didn't even exist yet.
Oh God. It is crazy to me that like for like the 70s and a tad bit of the 80s, porn was mainstream enough that they just had theaters dedicated to it. They were just like, yeah, you can go and see this movie. No one will judge you.
Yeah, but unless you're famous, then people will clearly judge you. Publicly.
If you're Pee Wee Herman.
It is so weird to think about that it's like you can be walking down the street and they'll be like Back to the Future. In 1985 in Hill Valley, the theater just is playing Orgy American Style. And it's never addressed, but everyone's like, yeah, it's 1985, of course.
Do the kids want to go see Jaws or Debbie Does Dallas?
My God.
You have to pick.
Oh, the most like unself-aware family just flipping a coin on that one. Oh, that's fucked up. Another role I wanted to point out about Mark Holton, at the end of The Naked Gun, he's the guy who yells out, "It's Enrico Palazzo." That's at the baseball game. That's him.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I looked into the cast, like, holy shit. He's labeled as like guy in stand, quote, it's Enrico Palazzo. Oh, that's great.
I'll give him credit. Other than Warwick Davis, I actually do really like him in the movie. He seems to be the only other actor that's like, this is not meant to be serious. I'm just going to kind of go with it.
But him and Alex have the weirdest subplot of like, it's almost like, Lenny and George. I don't know why that's going on, but like, we're going to fix your brain with this gold. Like, what?
It really shows its age. We're going to fix your brain so you're not special anymore. Jesus, movie.
And then like the line where, Jennifer Aniston's like, you can't fix his brain. And Alex is like, I know that, but he doesn't. Like, it's so, what's going on here? Like, what kind of movie am I watching here?
Yeah. Well, and then that line when they're at the diner and she's like, where are they? He's like, oh, they're children. They'll be here soon. I'm like, he's not a child.
He's like 30. North Dakota. Oh, God.
This movie.
Robert Hy Gorman plays Alex. Gorman would go on to appear in such films as Leatherheads, Forever Young, Rookie of the Year, and Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Noticing a trend in the actors here. Like, you got Warwick Davis, you got Jennifer Aniston, and then fucking no one.
Really dips after that.
Finally, except for this guy, Irish character actor Shay Duffin played the unfortunate O'Grady. Duffin had a hell of a career, randomly popping up in films such as Seabiscuit, Beowulf, The Departed, Titanic, and Raging Bull. In just bit parts. I get the vibe that he didn't need to do Leprechaun.
Sounds like he's like that character actor that doesn't need to do these movies, but because it's a bit part, it never hurts his career, so he just does whatever.
Yeah, that's called the Harry Dean Stanton.
God bless those people.
Duffin died in 2010 at 79 years old from complications due to heart surgery. But now that I know his face, I'm definitely going to be kind of looking for him.
Yeah, same here. I didn't know that. I really just thought it was a dude they found that they were like, hey, you can talk in an Irish accent. Let's put you in our movie that takes place in North Dakota.
Well, the reason he can talk in an Irish accent is because he's from Dublin.
Here.
That'll help.
I didn't know.
Typically, if you're born in Ireland, you have a higher chance of having an Irish accent.
Maybe.
I don't like that his part of the story, like fuck the rest of this. He should have been the focus of the movie. His trip to Ireland and stumbling onto a leprechaun and outwitting him. Like, that's a movie I'd like to see.
Yeah, if it had been him going to Ireland, the movie took place in Ireland, I feel like we would have had something. But instead they went, Ireland, North Dakota. Let's go North Dakota.
Yeah, it's like if Candyman was a white guy. It just doesn't work. It's weird. So Leprechaun has an IMDb score of 4.8 and a Rotten Tomatoes score of 21%. So not exactly batting 1,000 here. It grossed $8.6 million on a $900,000 budget. Somehow spawned 6 sequels, a prequel, and a reboot. I don't understand the horror community's fascination with Leprechaun. There's so many great movies that went absolutely nowhere, but this thing is an enduring franchise that has lasted this long. What is it? How does this happen?
I'll bring this up now as a horror fan. So when I was talking about movie series, right? And you're talking about like how this is happening with Leprechaun. I've thought the same thing with some series like Wrong Turn, which for any of the fans that have been paying attention to my review series, I'm currently waiting to get Wrong Turn 6 in the mail from Netflix. COVID's causing a delay with that. So it's going to happen. I'm finishing that review series. But you have that one that just, I wonder how it's so serious. Or even like Silent Night, Deadly Night. I'm like, how? I know you're wrong. Like, I like the first 2 Wrong Turns and I like the first 2 Silent Night, Deadly Nights. But after that, I sat there going, how do they keep pumping these out? How is this still going?
Oh, yeah, I'll never understand it. I'm trying to think of like other examples, but really, I'm coming up short. Damn. But yeah, Leprechaun is it's ridiculous. So let's talk a little bit about some highlights. right from the beginning, uh, we see him get pretty easily incapacitated by a gun, which made me laugh. Like he just gets shot and he's just like, ah, and falls over. And then they just, the guy throws him in a crate and puts a 4-leaf clover on the crate. And I'm like, that was really easy. If the guy didn't have heart problems, I feel like this would have taken less time.
I hate when movies do that. Not how easy it is, because that's like a recurring thing about this fucking movie. But the character has a heart problem at the most inopportune time.
I thought the leprechaun was giving him the heart attack, but I don't think he was now. Like, but he's just sweating, like trying to light the match, like the his heart's gonna explode at any moment. It's a little over the top. But all it takes to fuck this guy up is a 4-leaf clover. Like, really? That's it?
That throughout the movie, they just they shoot him. At one point, I think Ozzy just runs away. And the whole thing is, oh, my power's on as strong. And I'm like, how am I supposed to be scared of you? It's like the special one ran away.
Oh, I love after he finally reveals himself to everybody, and Jennifer Aniston is still like, it's not a leprechaun, god damn it. Like, she saw it like disappear. You see like a 2-foot tall, like green garb demon looking thing. It's a fucking leprechaun. I mean, there's no other explanation. It wrecks the car with like a little scooter. Remember that when it just runs into the side of the truck and the truck does like 3 fucking flips?
It doesn't even, it's not even going fast. It just goes along and next thing the truck just flies. And I'm like, that's not how that works. That's
before he gets his gold and supposedly at full power. So there's also a lot of inconsistency in this movie.
There's a lot of inconsistencies. And I don't even recall them establishing him getting his full powers. I could have been tuned out though.
He gets his gold and suddenly he's like, my power is returning in a...
Oh.
He doesn't even really attempt an Irish accent, which is kind of funny to me. He's kind of just doing his own thing.
I respect actors that do that, all right?
He'll just throw the word me into dialogue randomly, like, it's me gold. Like, that's how we know he's Irish.
And he rhymes all the time.
He does. It's kind of crazy how we get like no establishment on like the rules here. Like, what can he do? What is he? Why is he, after the gold? Why doesn't he go after O'Grady like immediately?
There's no establishment in this movie. I want to, as someone who's watched again the entire series, you're welcome, fans. The rules do not get any clearer. If anything, they get more confusing, especially when we get to Leprechaun 4 in space.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that later. I need to know what the fuck that's all about. So the death by pogo stick's actually pretty entertaining. That's a wild death.
I actually listed that. I have a little notepad I was using.
You do.
And I actually listed that. Actually, like, for as stupid as this movie can be, I do like that scene. I think the pogo scene's actually it's an inventive death scene to just pogo on someone's stomach on a very creepy looking shop owner.
I had probably tuned out as well, but was there a valid reason why the guy didn't just get up?
He bit his kneecap.
There you go. Okay, I knew there was a reason.
Yeah.
Who the hell moves to a fixer-upper in North Dakota? I mean, clearly Tori and her dad, JD, I think it was, like, they came from California, I'm assuming, because of her demeanor and attitude. And now they're in North Dakota, and he's trying to sell this, like, isn't it beautiful? Look at all this land. And she's like, there's not even a mall. And we just kind of get that the whole time until the leprechaun bites into his hand, and we never see JD again.
We almost don't get it before that, because he comes out and he's like, all right, you don't like it, we're leaving. And I'm like, that's not how you father.
My teenage daughter does not like this surprise North Dakota vacation I had planned, so I guess we're just leaving.
We're just going to pack up and go back to Cali.
There goes my investment. No.
No, I'd be like, shut up. Go to your room and fix it up.
Any dad who moves his family to North Dakota does not have time for bullshit. That was a hard decision. This is not his dream job. This is not like where he wants to be. He's doing this for you.
He's not looking there going, man, I'm really glad I passed up Texas and Florida and just all these other great states so I could get North Dakota. That's what I want in life. I'm doing this for you.
A shitty, like, starter home in North Dakota that's not even unpacked, that has a leprechaun locked in a crate in the basement and a lot of spiders.
I'll say, before we get to the leprechaun in the basement, that house was filthy. I'm a little bit of an OCD when it comes to cleaning, and if I'd walked in seeing cobwebs and spiders, like, why did we buy this?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's like the only house in North Dakota. You get that vibe too. Like, they don't go anywhere else.
They don't. They hint at a town and you see it for 5 minutes and not the whole town.
We see the hospital. We see the old folks home that Tori just knew how to find
on her first night.
Her first, like, GPS was not a thing. This was 1993. You didn't have that on your cell phone. I'm amazed she even had a cell phone. But the fact that she just randomly knew exactly where to find, like, the old folks home is kind of ridiculous. And this is in a movie with a, leprechaun just biting kneecaps.
You know what? Don't give me Leprechaun. I want to see Tori find this godforsaken nursing home, because I feel like it actually took hours and the movie's just not telling me.
I'd like to know how Nathan's, like, detrimental bear trap injury is so bad they need to call an ambulance, but not bad enough that he can't run across the yard.
They need him.
That was hilarious. Like, the one scene, they're like, we got to call an ambulance. He's bleeding. And the next scene, they're all bolting across the field, including Nathan, away from the leprechaun. And then again, he's like, oh, my leg. Like, pick a lane, bro. Come on.
I would have loved if he just did that Family Guy thing. He was like,
oh, my God. Did you also laugh when Alex just randomly slapped Ozzy and went, hey, chill?
Yeah.
Like, out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh, man. God.
I don't know why I found it funny, but the scene after Ozzy just so narrowly escapes the leprechaun in the basement and he runs out, there's a leprechaun in the basement. There's a leprechaun in the basement. I don't know why. It made me laugh.
It's funny. I think it's mean to, give that role to the special guy. Like, everyone's gonna be like, sure, there's a leprechaun, buddy. That's great.
Right. We're just gonna go home now.
Oh, that's so. Even his friend was like, no, God damn it, dude, chill.
Really, you could probably just talk about this movie's very complicated matters on Ozzy and his treatment of a special needs person.
There's a whole subplot here about, Alex and Ozzy and their friendship and Alex's desire to fix his buddy's brain. Like, also, how did the gold just randomly, like, teleport from O'Grady's hiding place to the truck? Like, does the gold have a life of its own? Because why would the leprechaun want somebody else to find the gold? And if he can make it teleport, why can't anybody steal it at all?
Why couldn't Ozzy have shit out the gold coin at any point that he swallowed? Let's just be honest.
Because if Game of Thrones has taught me anything, it's that only Tywin Lannister can shit gold. And that is a dated reference now. I don't know. I think because I was really hoping on Leprechaun ripping his guts out and digging through him. I was really hoping for that.
Well, there's a little bit of that in Leprechaun Returns.
Well, good. Okay. So all I got to do is make it through 7 movies and then I get my moment.
Technically, they Halloween 2018 it, so you can just go straight to it.
I don't want to see just anyone rip guts. I can see that in 100 horror movies. I want to see this motherfucker rip open somebody's guts. Oh boy. The hand in the phone thing was totally taken from Elm Street. That was huge. Yeah.
There's a couple of scenes. I know that one, some I'm not remembering off the top of my head, that I felt like they were just copying from other horror movies.
Yeah.
Not in a cutesy like Scream way, but like it's just blatant rip off.
Yeah, there's because there's better stuff. And this was really trying with minimal effort. I mean, most of the time the leprechaun shows up, does a quick quip, tries to bite somebody, and then they just like kick him away or shoot him, and then he's like, ah! Like, it's kind of ridiculous.
Minimum effort equals maximum results for this series, though.
Amazingly, yeah. It's like, you got a essay, there's an essay project at school, and you write maybe 2 paragraphs and like of fucking nothing, and yours somehow gets selected to be read by the president. And then you get like the Medal of Freedom, and then there's like a press tour. It just doesn't stop. And you're like, I wasn't even trying. Oh, yeah, it's upsetting.
Wasn't there a Key and Peele sketch about that with some kid that made a joke?
If there is, I haven't seen it, but I hope there is.
I think there was. It had, I remember it had Gabriel Iglesias in it, the fluffy guy.
Love that guy. One more question I have. When they needed to get to the old folks' home to talk to O'Grady, I think obviously Nathan should have driven because clearly his leg's fine. But also, why didn't they all get in the fucking Jeep and Amscray?
Because that's a smart thing to do. And this movie just takes logic, crumbles it into a ball, and hoops it. And just hopes for the best.
It made me laugh when they were just hucking shoes at the leprechaun, and he's like, oh, he has to clean all of them. I didn't know that was a thing for leprechauns.
No, and this movie gets a lot of mileage out of that.
Like vampires and Seed. You remember that X-Files episode where they like a small town in Texas and it's all vampires, and Mulder and Scully go there, and like Luke Wilson's the sheriff with buck teeth, and the guy from The Sandlot is like the vampire, and Mulder like chucks a bunch of rice at him, and he's like, God damn it, he has to pick it all up. And he looks at Mulder like, you are in big trouble.
Was that the one where they were telling the story and it was like different? Yeah.
I love that in that episode. Like, it opens with Mulder blatantly murdering a teenager, and they just have like a hearing. Like, he's not in prison. Like, he drove a stake through a teenager's heart with fake fangs. I love that Scully's not immediately like, you're fucking crazy.
What I love is when they're telling the story and Luke Wilson's sheriff is super suave and debonair in like Scully's version. And then as soon as Mulder tells it, he's some hick.
Like, how can I help you? His teeth's all over the place. That's great. That's one of my favorite episodes.
That was a great episode. I remember what was it when Skinner's like, Skinner comes in to get them into the office and Mulder, all right, we just keep all cool. Don't say a word. Mulder, Scully. She did. I don't know what's going on. Mulder.
I love the random episodes when Skinner would be funny. It didn't happen often, but sometimes it really, like, there was one episode where they were filming a movie based on one of their investigations. Gary Shandling and Téa Leoni were like playing Mulder and Scully on the set, and they're on like a 3-way phone call, and they call Skinner and they're like, what are you doing, sir? He's like, oh, I'm taking a bubble bath. And he hangs up. It's like, Mulder calls Scully like, you're not gonna believe this, Skinner called me from a bubble bath. He's like, it's still me, Mulder. It's little bits like that. I always thought Skinner was such an, like, there was a lot of comedy potential in there, and they didn't use it very often, but when they did, oh my God.
Well, Mitch Pileggi had really good old man grumpy humor.
Yeah.
As Skinner, that worked. I actually met him at a Crypticon.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Was it cool?
Oh, he was super cool. He's been to Round Rock, so he knew the area I was talking about when I told him where I was from.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's cool. Goddamn.
Yeah, super cool, dude.
That's fantastic. Oh, well, let's talk some Filmgazm facts. Number one, I thought this was hilarious. One scene required the Leprechaun to find and eat Lucky Charms cereal. General Mills gave them permission, but they were so upset when they saw the finished film that they revoked their permission. They were like, this is terrible. We don't want our name on this. So the filmmakers reshot the scene with the fake brand name Lucky Clovers, I think it was. And they also changed the kid's line at the end from "Your luck just ran out" to "Fuck you, Lucky Charms." It's a great one-liner at the Leprechaun, but it's also hilarious that they're like, "You assholes backed us into a corner."
Make a better movie.
Does part 2 explain why the Leprechaun came back after getting blasted down the throat with a 4-leaf clover?
Oh God, no.
Of course not.
God, no. There's like no explanation in any of the sequels.
God forbid you ask for some goddamn consistency in these horror sequels. Every franchise does this shit.
Honestly, 2 does not even take place in the same town. Pretty sure 3 took place in Las Vegas.
Yes, it did. Oh my God. Number 2, Warwick Davis started to regret making the film. I bet during the process he's like, what have I done? But so many people ended up loving it that it spawned 5 sequels and became one of his favorite movies. You know why? Because the Leprechaun wasn't the only thing that was green. Money plays.
It's like he's the only one making any money off this series.
He really is. 5 movies. That's going to cover a lot of expenses. I don't know what expenses he would have, but
I don't know. I don't know if he's doing anymore. I know he did the convention circuit a lot for Leprechaun. So if you ever go to the convention circuit enough, you could see him.
He might still do the convention circuit. I mean, he's got a lot of geek street cred, Leprechaun, Willow, Star Wars, Harry Potter. He's got a lot of fans. That's why I like Life's Too Short, because he's like he milks that cash cow for all it's worth. He's like, I was in Star Wars. Like he does that shit all the time. It's so funny.
I would. Like,
there's a scene where he climbs a bookshelf to get his BAFTA or something to spite his ex-wife. And it's so cringy because he's like trying to climb this giant bookshelf and no one's helping him. And then it just fucking collapses and he's just like, it's awkward as hell, but it's really funny.
The 90s. Well, we could make short people humor, apparently.
That show is from 2009, 2010.
Oh, so right before people got mad about everything.
It was it was right after Ricky Gervais hosted the Globes, and it had to have been like 2014 then, because there's Johnny Depp pops up in one of the episodes, super pissed at Ricky Gervais for making fun of his work in The Tourist. He's like, "How much do you make per movie?" Like, it was really funny that Depp was on board to do that.
Ricky Gervais, he will probably never host something again after that. What was it? The Globes? The Emmys?
Yeah, where he basically said, like, all of you are totally like on, all you were on board with a pedophile, and I know it. Like, he basically said, like, all you are pieces of shit, right to their face.
You know what? Honestly, I watched that speech. I commended him. I was 100% with them.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I love that somebody's saying that, shying away from acting like this is some revelation is horseshit.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not all pedophiles, but, an uncomfortable chunk of them are.
Yeah, I just found apparently one of my all-time favorite metal artists is a sexual predator.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was after I bought his new CD too, is how I found out. Bought it, someone mentioned it, and I looked it up and thought, oh, what obscene lyric did he say? And it was like facing sexual abuse allegations. I'm like, oh,
yep.
Ooh.
That's bad. That's real bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy that all this shit's coming out, randomly about, like when the whole Kevin Spacey thing broke, I was really like, no way. Like when that all happened, I'm like, that's bull. There's no way. And then more came out and more and more. And then weirdly, his accusers started dying in like suicides and accidents, which really concerned me. I'm thinking like, is he really think he's Frank Underwood? Like, is he killing people?
Yeah, I'm really going to be looking at Marilyn Manson lyrics different now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
suddenly,
that was this.
Yeah. Suddenly this is the new shit. I don't want to know what that new shit is anymore.
I really don't want to know. Don't want to know what Disposable Teens is either.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh shit. I saw him in concert. I went to that Zombie Manson show we were supposed to do. I still did.
I know the Navy fucked me. I'm allowed to say that. It's fine.
Okay. The final episode of the Filmgazm podcast. But I mean, it was great. The zombie part obviously was my favorite. That's why I was there. Manson, nearly died a couple times from overheat exhaustion, and now I'm kind of wishing like, man, maybe you should have.
Yeah. Well, Manson, I haven't seen anyone in live. I've heard Manson in his later career wasn't really putting on good shows, especially as he started gaining weight. But Zombie is almost like 60, and from what I know, he is still crushing it live shows.
Dude, he like after Manson kind of sat down and hobbled his way through the rest of his set. He ended with The Beautiful People, and then there was a pause, and then all of a sudden, it goes dark, and everyone's like, the stage lights freak out, smoke shows up, and Super Beast starts, and it was either Super Beast or Meet the Creeper, one of them. I don't remember which one, but Zombie comes out in full undead cowboy gear and breaks into song, and we're all like, "Fuck yeah!" And it was the tempo of the atmosphere did not change the rest of the show. Like there was no lull in his part of the show. It was amazing.
Now from what I understand, he brings it, and I can say at least CD wise, I got his new one. His past 3 CDs have been amazing. Like he is just, it's like whatever gap happened between Hobo Deluxe and these 3 CDs almost doesn't exist now. He's just crushing on each one. It's just he's good. He's killing it still.
I think he's trying a little hard on the titles. I think the names of these albums are fucking ridiculous. I don't know why he keeps doubling down on that shit.
Venomous Rat Regeneration Vendor.
But I bought the new one too, and it's pretty good. I like the last one better, but Triumph of King Freak and The Ballad of Sleazy Rider are awesome.
Yeah. I like Crow Killer Blues. The closing track on it is real good, in the Wolfman song. Yeah. I'd have to look up the title again. The long ass titles.
The lyric and outer space motherfucking boogeyman gives me chills. I get so fucking pumped when I hear that.
It's still like, I sit there sometimes and wonder where he gets these lyrics. Like one of my favorite songs from him is Ging Gang Gong. They got De La La La, whatever.
Oh my god.
And all I can think of, like, how did you come up with this?
I don't know. The guy's an enigma to me. I don't understand him. I heard he might be doing a Munsters reboot.
Yeah, I looked into that. It's either Munsters or something else. No one knows, but apparently he is very much secretly filming something. And it's studio back. So that's for a different podcast as far as my feelings on his last couple of films and his treatment from the studios recently and we've had to work with. But it sounds like this might be finally a fully funded studio backed Rob Zombie film, which has me really, really excited.
All right, bring it. And the third Filmgazm fact, this was just odd. There was not a lot of decent trivia on this movie, surprisingly. Vice President Dan Quayle received a special thanks credit because his office sped up a work visa for British actor Warwick Davis.
So glad. God bless you. You made this movie get made sooner.
Isn't he the guy who couldn't spell potato? And we were like, that's probably a good enough reason for him not to be president. Simpler times.
God, if we could still do that.
I know. That should, yeah. So let's talk the sequel. Since you've seen all of them, we'll actually have something to say here. First up, 1994's Leprechaun 2. The leprechaun returns to marry the descendant of one of his slaves, and the girl's boyfriend has to save her. Anything to say about that one?
It's worse. It has some creative kills, like a cauldron of gold growing in a dude's stomach until it burst. That was cool. A lot of it takes place inside a tree. If you go into a tree, he has a lair. And there's a lot of scenes in there with him and the chick he's trying to get with. So not great.
Of course. My God. Is there a Keebler elf joke anywhere in there? Because there should be.
No, there's not.
Next, 1995's Leprechaun 3. The leprechaun goes to Vegas to grant wishes, fuck with people, and infect someone with his blood. Anything? What do we got on that one?
I put it on the same quality of 2. You literally watch our main character get turned into a leprechaun throughout the movie.
That sounds kind of neat.
Yeah, if you're Cronenberg, and you know how to do that.
Fair enough.
They didn't know how to do that.
Oh, man.
It does have Caroline Williams from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. She's in it. And, obviously she's good. I like her in any horror movie she's in, so.
1996's Leprechaun 4 in space. The leprechaun goes to, you guessed it, space to woo a princess who is after his gold. So is this like a space princess? Like, is this like an alien planet, or just like, how does this work?
It's a space princess on a very clearly green screen planet and set, mixture of green screen set. And it has the worst Space Marines I've ever seen. Jason X has done a better job at Space Marines than this movie. And they save her, they kill the leprechaun, but then he goes up someone's piss.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of strange in this one. And the dude's getting ready to, fuck this one chick on the ship, and all of a sudden the leprechaun comes out of his dick.
I can't tell if you're fucking with me.
I'm really not. This is all in the movie that I watched.
My God.
They're being funded by a scientist who is not a not so subtle Nazi. And I think only has a head. It's like a really weird, strange thing.
I feel like I would love this movie, ironically.
It is so ridiculous.
That sounds... Honestly, I kind of want to see this. After all that shit, headless Nazis, leprechauns and dicks, space princess, I kind of want to see this.
Oh, and really bad CGI when they show the outside. They were determined to show you like this ship traveling in space, and it looked like PS1 graphics.
Well, it was 96. It probably was PS1 graphics. That's crazy. How does the leprechaun get to space?
They don't even try to explain it.
Motherfucker.
Just opens up with leprechaun in space.
Is the ship made of gold? Like what? Anything? Nothing?
Nope. Some dude just dressed porkin, and next thing you know, leprechaun is set loose on a ship and is killing everyone to get his princess.
Fuck. I gotta say, you're selling me on this. I'm gonna watch this.
It's not the intention with this one.
This sounds so insanely over the top that I feel like I'm gonna be smiling the whole time.
Yeah.
God. Next up, 2000's Leprechaun 5 in the Hood. 3 rappers looking to get even with a pimp accidentally unleash the leprechaun who kills his way through the hood. Ice-T stars as Mac Daddy. Just had to say that. So how does this measure up?
God, quality still sucks. Ice-T as Mac Daddy, which do you think his wife Coco makes him say that
Yes.
to him? All
100%.
to her?
To himself? I hope
To
not.
himself? No, he makes her say it to him. There we go. Boom.
I'm just picturing Ice-T and standing naked in front of a mirror going like, Mac Daddy, you fine. Like just some weird shit. Oh my God.
I wouldn't be surprised. It's literally again no explanation why Leprechaun in the hood.
Oh, it's so ridiculously insensitive.
Fucking up some wannabe gangsters.
All right. Answer me this. Does the Leprechaun rap?
I don't think in the first one. I think he does in the second one.
Damn. Does he break dance?
I think he does. I don't remember though. I want to say they embrace it.
Does he at any time drop any kind of slurs?
No, he does smoke a bunch of weed in one scene.
Okay.
That's right. I think that's how he started rapping. He was like smoking weed and started rapping. And then killed them.
I don't think I'll watch this one, but I am going to look that scene up. Oh my God. How did they milk 2 movies out of the hood?
Because, and I'm not kidding right now, the series by fans was just not up to snuff by the time we got to Leprechaun 4 in space. They felt like it was a little lagging. So they were like, how do we reinvent Leprechaun? Oh, I know. In the hood.
Does at any point in anything movie of this franchise, does this fucker ever go to Ireland?
No.
Everywhere but Ireland.
The one place that would make sense? Nope. What's funny is that always we have 2 hood movies, which by the way, it's not even in the hood, it's in the hood.
THA. Yeah.
And apparently this was a huge success.
By whose standards?
People who love this series talk about how much they love this movie, and that's how we end up with the sequel to it.
2003's Leprechaun 6, Back to the Hood. At least it wasn't the hood.
Oh, God.
Group of friends find a treasure chest filled with gold coins, which triggers the leprechaun's return as foretold by a psychic. So Leprechaun goes back to the hood. Any thoughts?
Somehow it's even worse. You don't even have Ice-T or any other famous rapper to back them up this time.
God. Someone somewhere has greenlit all of these. And I want to know who the fuck snorted so much green coke that they just thought, let's throw this fucker everywhere. Space, the hood, twice, Vegas.
I would love to live in a world where Freddy versus Jason got sequels, and at some point it would have been like Freddy versus Jason versus Leprechaun.
Michael versus Leprechaun. That's what I want.
Oh my God. Leatherface versus Leprechaun. You know how annoyed he would get with them?
Oh, I just had a horrible thought. That's so mean, but I'm going to say it. Fuck it. What do I have to lose? Halfway through the movie, Leatherface gets his mask kicked off or something, and it's Ozzy. Oh, I'm sorry. Not sorry.
Ozzy, what a problematic character.
Oh, boy. 2014's Leprechaun Origins. 2 young couples backpacking through Ireland unleash the Leprechaun. Hey, it took a prequel, but we got there. We're not there. Oh, damn it. What happens?
The plot line is so far true, but there's more than just a couple, of which I forget because they were the most bland, useless, underdeveloped characters I've watched in a horror movie in my life. And at that point, even Warwick Davis introduced out of the series. And we got some wrestler Hornswoggle, some wrestler apparently that donned the role, and it looks nothing like the Leprechaun. It looks like a feral child out of The Descent.
What? Well, are we certain it's the same Leprechaun? I mean, surely there are others.
It's called Leprechaun Origins.
Okay, so it is supposed to be the same guy.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not in Ireland. They like it starts out. How does that work out?
No, it's in Ireland. That part is true. It's just that like it gets to this weird point where you found there's more than one leprechaun. There's like a whole clan of them. Again, they look nothing like what we know.
Weird.
But like at that point, I was so checked out. Oh yeah, and they had like Predator vision. I forgot about that. Yeah, you see the vision of Leprechaun, and it's like just like that scene was copied out of 911 Elm Street. It's copied straight out of fucking Predator.
That's amazing. God. You know, it makes me think like I could probably make a movie. I mean, it seems like it's not that hard when you look at films like this.
Every so often I go sit there and go, someone said yes to this. Like someone read a script and went, this is good. We're doing it. We're rolling.
Turns out you don't even need a good idea. You just need an idea.
And this is just for Leprechaun. We're not even talking like the big horror series that have had that dud. We were like, how the fuck did you greenlight this?
I'm gonna write a crossover reboot, prequel, sequel. I don't know. I'm just gonna throw all these words into my pitch. And it's gonna be Leprechaun versus Troll. That could sell. You can't piss on hospitality. Finally, 2018's Leprechaun returns. A group of sorority girls unleash the Leprechaun after they tear down an old cabin to build their sorority house. Mark Holton returns as Ozzy. In what capacity?
He's in the beginning, as like a legacy character. Of course, the main character is supposed to be Jennifer Aniston's daughter.
They never left North Dakota.
No, she travels to North Dakota.
Why?
To go to, apparently that house is getting turned into a sorority house.
Are there colleges in North Dakota? I don't know.
It's implied that Aniston and the dude with the leg that may or may not be hurt, lived together and moved back to California, lived together, had her. And for some college thing, she goes to North Dakota to the house with some of her sorority girls to start this new, like, I guess, like SJW type sorority. And Ozzy's in it because he is the local handyman / taxi driver. And he uses the same truck for both, so it's not like anything special.
So he's an Uber, basically.
Yes.
Did they fix his brain?
No. Actually, they make him extraordinarily creepy if you have not seen the first movie.
How much do you think they would have had to pay Jennifer Aniston to pop up in this?
Oh.
I'm thinking billions.
Yeah, because she famously hates that first movie.
Yeah. Apparently she and Warwick Davis like constantly are at odds because she like refuses to admit that this movie happened. And he's like, I was there, damn it. You were in this movie.
I like how she just doesn't go the McConaughey and Zellweger route of getting their face removed off the cover.
She's just in perpetual denial.
Yeah. Her face is plastered all over the fucking cover.
I know. I've seen it. It's ridiculous. I wonder how many people like, probably not a lot of people have like run into her and been like, oh my God, I loved you in Leprechaun.
If I ever run into her, I'm saying that to her. No shame.
She might have her bodyguard deck you for that.
I'll take it.
You can deny the truth. We know it. Just go like a full conspiracy theory. Like, you can't hide.
I'll have a copy of like the DVD or something. It's right there.
The truth will set you free. As you're being tackled by your entourage.
Try to break my DVD. I have 10 more.
Oh my God. So that's the Leprechaun franchise in a nutshell. All poorly received, but somehow still alive. You know if there's like, are they going to keep going?
I haven't heard any rumblings. I honestly I wouldn't be surprised. As you know, ever since the success of Halloween, we're kind of on the cusp of a slasher revival again. I mean, you got what Hellraiser, Chainsaw Massacre, which I just heard the news about that the producer talked about today on it.
Ooh.
You got the Child's Play TV show. You got Scream coming, back. You have all these slashers coming back. I would not be surprised if somehow we get a new and improved Leprechaun before I get a new and improved Friday the 13th.
You know what I'm just picturing? I'm picturing that scene in Jumanji where the stampede gets unleashed out of the game and barrels through the house. And the stampede is, Scream and Texas Chainsaw and Child's Play. And then that little one rhino coming up on the and on the bottom who can't quite keep up with the rest of them. That's Leprechaun. He's still part of the stampede, but he's lagging.
Every time Jason comes out, the hunter just comes in to shoot him. Sean S. Cunningham.
He's Van Pelt. He's just ending this shit. That's fantastic.
You will not get a new one.
I give Leprechaun a 6. It's ridiculous, but I have seen worse.
I agree. I give it a 6 as well. It's the only one that seems to remotely try, and I'll give it that much. It falls short. It's not. I know a lot of people, horror fans especially, watch it on St. Patty's Day. It's like a tradition. Not mine. I'll watch anything else, but it's not the worst thing I've seen. Just not something I like to constantly watch.
Yeah. Well, that's the reason we did it today, because today is St. Patrick's Day, and it's not like we're going to throw out, Leap Year or Darby O'Gill and the Little People. This is a horror-based podcast for the most part. We're doing fucking Leprechaun. Next year, we will probably do Leprechaun too.
God damn it.
We got 8 years worth of Leprechaun. Buckle up.
I somehow get roped into this every single year.
Welcome to the party, pal. Thanks for listening, everyone. I'm very excited to have Caleb on the show finally. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. I'm happy to be on the show. It's great to finally be on the podcast.
Hell yeah. Speaking of, next week, we're covering his favorite movie of all time. When rich industrialist John Hammond discovers a way to clone living dinosaurs out of preserved DNA, he creates a theme park full of the most wondrous creatures that ever existed. But a disgruntled employee sabotages the park, unleashing dinosaurs onto Hammond's grandchildren and 3 scientists in the 1993 sci-fi epic Jurassic Park.
Shoot her.
Don't miss it. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be fun. Jurassic Park's been on the books for quite some time, and I'm glad you will be here to dissect this one with me.
I'm excited. I fucking love that movie so much.
It's great. Also, check out Federico Fellini's 1954 film La Strada on Oscar Sunday, Zack Snyder's Justice League on the sneak preview, and the 2009 comedy I Love You Man on Guys Who Giggle on Friday. Until then, don't steal a leprechaun's gold. Happy St. Patrick's Day, and keep watching movies.
Stay spooky, guys.